I want you to see further the fullness of what Isaiah is trying to describe to us. This is chapter 41 in Job. This will be further confirmation so that we can understand that that chart that I have and the things that I'm going to say about it can be taken seriously. Because if not, you're not taking the prophets of our Father seriously, meaning Isaiah. Remember, he's describing this serpent as the Leviathan. Read the very first line of chapter 41, canst thou draw out the Leviathan? In other words, who can bring this Leviathan about? So we're talking entirely in Job chapter 41, all about the Leviathan. If we go right now to verse 18, listen up. By his neesings a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth goeth burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or cauldron. Now that's describing this Leviathan. Now remember, in Isaiah's vision, he also described him as a fiery flying serpent. So there we have a distinction of the fulfillment of Isaiah's vision being told to you further detail here in Job 41. Just as Isaiah says, line upon line, here a little, there a little, we're putting it together. So this is a depiction of this fire-breathing, fiery serpent, if you would. But the fire that he is breathing is doctrine. It's false doctrine. It's false doctrine. It will be the very same false doctrine that the locusts themselves also bring. Because if you read Revelation chapter 9, you're going to see that the locusts are described as having the exact same fire, smoke, and brimstone coming from their mouths. We know that the locusts themselves are going to be these supposed enlightened beings that show up in our world. In other words, they're going to be illuminated. Well, what the Bible is telling you, what Isaiah is telling you, what I'm trying to share with you, is that these locusts, these enlightened beings, that many people are being led to believe as aliens, that most of us know as the descendancy of the fallen sons of God of Genesis 6, who is even further clarified as Dan, the descendancy of Dan, which were those mighty men of old, men of renown. These beings are the ones that have channeled this Kundalini serpent. They're showing the very same attributes. And when you see them appear, you're going to understand where they get their power from. They themselves will even be glowing. They will have an aura that can be seen with the naked eye because they've channeled and they are enlightened and illuminated by the very spirit of the Antichrist. So let's go ahead and look at this so we can understand that's exactly what we're talking about. By his neesings a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Now remember, we're talking about the process of this Kundalini rising spirit. The key word to see here is neesings. By his neesings a light doth shine. Now we just saw that this serpent is being compared as luminous. This light being brought about by this neesings is going to be the real intriguing part here. It's going to be our understanding of what neesings is and how we can connect it to the process of the rising of the Kundalini serpent. Neesings is breathing. And if you know about Kundalini, it is basically achieved by breathing exercises and meditation. This is going to be how the Strong's Concordance is showing us the Hebrew definition of this neesings. We can see it can be found on number 5846. And then it says, from a unused root, mean to sneeze. Sneezing. Sneezing is a term for breathing. Breathing is how you achieve this rising Kundalini. I'll be back.